Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
It's the time again. It's Monday night, and we're gonna light it up like dynamite. That's right, get ready to party. Time for feminine toxic femininity. Get ready to take your seats and shake them. Time for some Monday night roar once again. Gotta get up to get down. Come on, let's go. This is the place to be. Toxic femininity. I like turtles. Let's get ready to party. Time for toxic femininity.
Tonight, Doctor Who is not for you. Tinkerbell's out, and Agatha all along was a lying witch with some bitchin' wardrobe. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more tonight on Toxic Femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge. Get ready for some Monday Night
Let's get
Roar.
ready to party. Time for toxic femininity.
Yeah! Welcome once again to the program. This is the second try, second take.
Me too.
We're gonna do this quick this time. We got Michelle here. How you doing?
Good.
Miss
Good to
Wonder
be
Woman
back.
herself.
We had a practice round. We're ready to do this.
We're good to go, people.
Indeed, we're fired up. We got Carrie from Deprogrammed. I'm so psyched. How you been?
Great. It's get to hear the intro song twice is got me double pumped. Let's go.
Good.
You know, I
Good.
had to
Glad
stand up
hear
and dance this time. I was like, you know what? We gotta dance. We gotta dance.
And
I
both
was
you
like,
ladies just had an excellent stream. I know both of you were streaming, so check out these ladies because you were talking about COVIDiots over on your stream, Carrie.
Yes. Yes.
And I didn't get to catch what you guys were talking about, Michelle. This is one of the few times I didn't get to check in on Monday nights. So I know you guys were live here just a bit too.
Well, we had a special guest, Valiant, came on, and we talked about our meetup we had this weekend and showed some footage of our hiking trip. And then also
I've seen the
covered the
pictures.
Mandela.
so cute. You guys are so cute. I love that.
It was
I
fun.
love when people meet IRL. It's really cute.
I
we
know, it was
also-
a lot of fun.
And of course, we also have Miss Nina Infinity with us. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good, Tom. Happy to be here. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you're in the chat, please make sure you smash the like, share the stream, all that good stuff. And I was saying on our take one to Carrie that, my God, that was an amazing stream that she did right before this. She was talking about COVIDiots and Cuomo, and it's the best when Carrie gets angry because Carrie is such a wholesome person. So when you see her just being like, these motherfuckers, and I'm like, wow, this is not
Adding
the
it to
Carrie
my
I know,
watch
but
list
also
right now.
very spicy. So I love it. Check out her stream, guys. It was great.
Thank you. I
Indeed.
had a lot of anger to burn off, and I did it in I hope a cathartic way, cathartic for other people as well. And I'm excited to talk about entertainment craziness now.
Yeah, and more
Yeah.
crazy people. There's going to be so much crazy on the stream. It's gonna be amazing.
Crazy. Indeed. And we got Joey who says the obvious. This is true.
This is
It
so
does-
funny because he does look like him on this thing. Because
I
you
want a
like
script jar.
kind of
I want a script
blanked out
doctor
his
in a jar.
face. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have a face, so it looks like script doctor. With
I
the
want a
blue
script doctor in a
shirt.
jar.
I do too. Oh my god, that's too
Andy,
funny.
Andy, are you listening? Get us a script doctor in a jar.
Oh my god.
That'll take him like 10 minutes. Anyhow, yes, that's one of the topics tonight. And we also had Cajun Corey, who just sent in $5, didn't say anything. Thank you for the
Hey.
donation and the support, Cajun Corey.
Thank you so much, Cajun Corey.
We're a little discombobulated.
Yeah, now
I
that
know.
everything's been-
We're like, what have we
We
done?
were
What have
on,
we
and
not
I-
done?
We were so on
Yeah.
a roll on the first take, and now it's like, what
Yeah.
is it? Are we live?
Okay.
We're good.
We're
We're
good.
live.
Yeah.
I'm making sure.
Look,
we
but
got Nicholas
I just want to
Horton
know
if you
if Carrie hadn't caught that, how long were
I
the
know.
three of us going to roll with it?
20,
I
30,
don't
40
know.
minutes tops.
I'm so happy that Carrie was here because I was like, if we we would have been going and going, and then like freaking somebody else would pop in and be like, "You guys aren't live." Like,
It was
what's going
funny
on?
though, because it's the testament of Midnight's Edge has a great fellowship and chat community because people were
Mhm.
people were chatting and even giving super chats. So I thought we were live at first too.
Me too. Like things are rolling along, and then all of a sudden, yeah, Carrie's like, "We're not live. I don't think."
Thank God you were here, Carrie.
Time out.
Nicholas
Time out.
Horton is sending a 35-month member message. This is exactly what Carrie's
Wow.
talking about, by the way. 35 months. Thank you for being a
That's
member.
almost 3 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. Nicholas Horton says, "Hail, lovely ladies and Tom. Doctor Who Space Babies was boring and terrible. So many new returning anime shows to watch instead. Plus Ultra." I don't know what the Ultra is.
Is he talking about Ultraman or something else?
I have no idea what that is.
Maybe.
But thank you, Nicholas Horton.
And it's 2 years for KB. 24
Wow.
months.
Amazing.
Wow.
Hey, KB.
Very cool. Very
And also, we got a new member in Christian
Oh, yay.
Dominguez. Or Christopher, not
Thank
Christian,
you,
sorry. I
Christopher.
read that wrong.
Very cool.
And it looks like you are a edgelord. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. And I do believe we're having members stream tomorrow, even though Andre forgot to mention it today. But don't hold me to that.
Damn it, I was gonna say damn it, Russell, because I just saw him say like, hey, Russell, and I was like, damn it, Russell, but I was saying damn it, Andre is what I meant to say. But
Well,
Russell
he's been
Hall's always
traveling,
in my
yeah.
head, so that's fine. Russell Hall lives rent free up here, so I'm sure
Why?
he's gonna be happy to know that.
I wanted to give a shout out because I forgot to grab it before my live stream. KB who's been a member, I think for however many months he's been a member here. He just gifted me this as well.
Ooh, hang on, let's blow this up. Sorry, go ahead, Tom, it's you. Do it.
Wait, slant it a little bit so
Glare.
light.
Yeah, it's all
Doesn't
bright.
glare.
I can tell what it is already.
Star
There we
Trek
go.
the movie. What? 10
So that's all the
movie?
OG movies. So that's
Ooh.
Star Trek 1, 2, 3, 4,
Ooh.
5, 6, and then the TNG films. Yep.
Yes, he's now
Very
gifted me
cool.
the entire TV show and all the movies.
Holy crap. That means you got some Star Trek to do.
Amazing.
I know. So thank you, KB.
Amazing.
Star Trekking across the universe. Psychotic Mongoose gifted a membership. Thank you for that, Psychotic Mongoose. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Psychotic Mongoose.
Indeed. So with that, you ladies had a lot to talk about.
So much.
I know we're expecting some other panelists and guests tonight, so we'll see how long it takes for them to get here. But what did you want to start with?
Let's start with Tinkerbell. Let's get that out of the way because I think everyone will be interested in this. Tinkerbell has been basically told to fuck off. Long story short.
No more
Disney
tea.
parks. No more Tink. Tinkerbell's problematic, guys. Disney Park takes action. Tinkerbell indefinitely suspended following controversial incident. Now, technically, there was no, like, when I was reading through this article, there wasn't really an actual incident named, but they're saying that she's kind of basically, okay, here's the quote. At present, Tinkerbell does not hold a meet and greet opportunity at the Walt Disney World Resort. Of course, she does make her evening flight over Magic Kingdom Park at the end of the Happily Ever After nighttime fireworks show. During our recent visit, my family had an amazing view of Tink from the this is the response. This is never mind. This
This is what they're saying. Don't worry. This is how we're still going to allow Tinkerbell.
Yes.
to
So this is right. That's right. And basically, so they're saying like this is she's still going to be around, but what they said was that she is problematic. Where did that go? Hang on. She's problematic because of her looks and her basically her character. Like she's just too spicy. And what she does with Peter Pan.
Here's a quote. It says she's too body conscious and also
body conscious. That was the word.
Too jealous
right.
for Peter Pan's attention. So
that's right.
They're not getting rid of her entirely, but the character's not going to be available there for meet and greets or anything because she's too problematic.
Like little girls love Tinkerbell.
Yes, they do. A visiting group performed a chant with offensive stereotypes, prompting criticism Disney for allowing it, leading the companies to release a statement saying, "We regret this performance took place as it did not reflect the audition tape that was submitted. We have immediately put measures in place to ensure that performances reflect auditions." What the hell happened?
What did she do?
What was in this? Yeah.
It's okay if you whip your dick out if you're trans, but
but stop it.
Okay, well, we got another panelist with us. Steph, aka My Nerdy Home. How you doing?
Hi, Steph. Hello. How are y'all doing today? Sorry I'm late.
Good to see you. We just started. Don't worry.
Yeah, we just started. We went live
for the second time.
Go live.
Oh, okay.
It's over here. But yeah, we're talking about Tinkerbell.
5-minute combo.
Yeah, we're talking about Tinkerbell, how she's been taken out of the parks because she's too problematic for Disney, the Disneyland situation, Disney World, I should say, because this is Disney World. And they're saying that she's like, just her relationship with Peter Pan is extremely problematic, and she's too body conscious and all of the stuff. So
she's a woman?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they're taking her out. She's out, guys. Tink is out. Mind you, they've been like changing her bit by bit anyway. Like, I'm sure you guys saw the recent iteration of her. She didn't look like this. I can tell you that.
Oh, do you mean in that Peter Pan and Wendy movie they did?
Yeah.
Yes. When she was a Black woman, I was like, wait, what? What's happening to Tinkerbell? Okay.
That sucks because like when we were growing up, didn't we wasn't Tinkerbell at the beginning of the Disney thing? Like you always saw her come in and wave her wand and everything. Yeah. Right. So she's just as synonymous as Disney is. You know what I mean? As like Mickey and Minnie. Like you see her all the time. Tinkerbell.
Always.
Like, yeah.
I mean, you would now. Before, Stephanie, like, good point, because you would see her even like in the early days, like she would come in and put the little sprinkle with the Disney sign before the movie started. Like, not even Mickey and Minnie were in the main
theme. I think I found the source of this. This goes back to 2022. Okay. So back then, according to this report, they labeled Captain Hook and Tinkerbell as potentially problematic. Now, Captain Hook was potentially problematic because he has a prosthetic and he's evil. We know how they work with that, right?
No way.
Yep. That's a basic. That's the new one now. That's where that actually kind of jumps off into some of the other stuff we're going to talk about later, probably. But anyway, and then we have Tinkerbell, who the reasoning here is because she is body conscious of Peter Pan's attention towards Wendy because of her jealousy.
So she has emotions. Like, what do you want? Mindless drones? Like, come on, get out of here. So she's emotional. What's the big deal? People actually like her because of that.
She acts like a typical woman. She's like, this bitch is honing in on my territory. What the fuck do you think she's doing? Well, this British snooty talking shit.
She's the girliest girl in all of the Disney princesses because it's like that's actually how women feel. Like, stop it.
I can't believe the gay community's standing for this because Tinkerbell's kind of a little bit of a, they've kind of adopted her there too. I mean,
she's been an ally for a really long time.
So she will not be in the parks at all? Is that the thing?
Not in Florida. They've taken her out in Florida.
The one place they wouldn't care.
In Florida. Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Steph. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, wow, the one place they actually want her there, probably.
Yeah, in Disney World, because this is they keep talking. They keep saying Disney World Resort, and that's not Disneyland. Disneyland is in California. And Disney
that's
World
California.
So that's
and I would even say most kids and parents that attend the Anaheim one still want Tinkerbell. Like I just think I would love to see a poll. Who thinks Tinkerbell's problematic? Yay or nay? I just feel very few people actually find this problematic.
I don't understand why they even, just because she's emotional. Like, honestly, like that's one of the reasons why I really liked Julia Roberts' Tinkerbell.
Yes.
Me too.
Because she displayed so much emotion. She played Tinkerbell so well. You fell in love with her because she's like any other she's like, she has emotion. She gets emotional. Not in the way that she does in the animated movie, but in a different way. Like that's Tinkerbell. She just
throws a little fit.
She feels everything. She's very emotional. She leads with her feelings. Even in the Tinkerbell movies. Have you seen the Tinkerbell movies? Like Secret of the Wings, all of those. I freaking love those movies. All right, where you have Tinkerbell and all of her friends, all of the different fairies, and you learn all of the different types of fairies that exist, right? And Tinkerbell is just she's the tinkerer because she has curiosity and emotion, and they keep telling her, don't be like that, you're gonna get yourself in trouble again. But it's ultimately like her emotions that really help her. So like if you watch those movies, I love those movies. They're so incredible. They're so great because like Tinkerbell, she's always going with like her emotions, and she doesn't let anybody tell her that what she's doing is wrong. She's a great character. That sucks.
I don't understand how anybody in the LGBTQ community could have any issues with her anyway, if that's the case, because I mean, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies.
Yeah. It's a wild, Stephanie, like a little bit. The Tinkerbell movies were a little bit after my time, but I remember how popular they were. Like that, all the girls loved those movies. I remember because I worked at Blockbuster back then, and always out of the Tinkerbell movies. We were
only second to the Barbie ones.
Yeah. Tinkerbell, Barbie, Olsen twins, the top 3 rental movies.
Those goddamn Olsen twins.
Freaking Olsen twins. But
my niece used to watch all those Tinkerbell movie stuff. So I haven't really watched them, but I do know them. So I think little girls really liked them.
Those Tinkerbell movies are really, really good. They're really good.
I mean, I wonder what that Disney. Sorry, Steph. I wonder what that article was talking about, though. Like, what was the incident that happened? Because they're like, oh, there was an incident.
They cite here what I just said, and also Carrie sent this too. And I guess in 2019 is when this started, and then that report in 2022 that I cited. So yeah, they just see her as problematic,
and that's it.
They don't really give us a good reason why.
Problematic because she's emotional.
But see, it's more than I will be a little bit. I will disagree just a little bit here. She is a crazy, like a classic archetype of the crazy woman who is obsessed and jealous, and she does try to kill Wendy. I mean,
that is true.
Yeah,
because Peter Pan likes Wendy. I mean, she is, but there's, my point is though, there's nothing wrong with that kind of archetype because it kind of sort of shows you that she's a little crazy. As a kid, I thought like, what's her problem? So he likes Wendy. Leave Wendy alone. And it's good for people to see archetypes of bad bad traits in people, and you can still like Tinkerbell as a character even though she's got some bad traits. We've learned that with all kinds of dramas with anti-heroes in the past
Hey,
10 years. But yeah, she's
exactly.
a fairy. She's not human. She's almost like another story we're about to talk about, Baby Reindeer, and that
Yes.
expensive woman.
I was just thinking that too. I was just thinking that. But
But,
you know,
you
it's so
know
crazy. Carrie, you're right though, because of what you're saying and what Stephanie's saying. I agree with both of you because I think that Tinkerbell, the character Tinkerbell, represented the complicated aspects of women, especially. And it's good to have those characteristics like on display so that people can kind of be like, okay, we should learn what not to do through this. But it's always been interesting that she's never been a villain,
No,
right?
she's
Because
not a villain. Yeah.
she's not, no, because she always learns from her emotional outbursts
Mhm.
and whatever, and she is taught the correct way to handle what's going on, and she ultimately makes the correct decision because she's like, oh, I was wrong, you know, let me correct myself, blah blah blah. And like, you know, she learns from stumbling and being emotional. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with learning from your bad behavior when other kind of point the mirror at you, and then you kind of like learn and you go, oh, that was a staple of Disney movies back in the day where they taught you the difference between right and wrong. And
Well, her
now they're doing the
mistake-
opposite. They're
And she did
blurring the lines.
by the end, she told Peter Pan to go save Wendy after
Exactly.
Hook manipulated her. Like, she learned, as you're
Mhm,
saying, there was a character arc for her.
mhm.
Well, I think the biggest
Well-
mistake she made was trying to kill Wendy and not Peter. See, if she tried to kill Peter, she'd only get 3 months in a 3 years probation. See, that's the difference.
Well, and here's the
Probably.
thing too. Here's how we know though it's all about her appearance at the end of the day and not any of this stuff. They don't care that she tried to kill Wendy. They made a movie where they turned Maleficent and Cruella into good guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Mhm.
know.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
They don't
Cruella is a
care.
crazy one. Yeah.
It's just the physical they don't like for whatever reason.
Yeah, they just want to, like I said, that's what they're in the business of now, is blurring the lines so you can't tell anymore. That is the ultimate thing. Like, other than the message that they're trying to push, they're also trying to blur the lines and confuse and gaslight people so that they can be like, well, I don't understand. Like, why do I feel it's so weird to be rooting for Cruella? Like, it's just there's a disconnect there,
Well,
right?
and Cruella is one of the most vile of them all. Like, you can probably twist.
She
and
kills
turn.
puppies for
Like,
fuck's
there's
sake.
nothing you can
Yeah.
come up with. Like, even this stupid idea that Dalmatians are somehow responsible for her parents' death. That is like one of the dumbest things ever. It's like,
You know
that's
who
what
did-
makes her who she is. She doesn't
Yeah.
care. She just wants a dog coat because nobody else has one. That's it.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter that they're puppies. It
Mhm.
doesn't
Well,
matter that they're Dalmatians. It's just she wants a unique coat. It could have been ferrets for all we care. It's just that, or she cares. It's just, yeah. Anyway, sorry, you're saying stuff.
You know who did Cruella really, really well in live action was Once Upon a Time. Because
Oh.
they had Cruella DeVille in that show. The actress portrayed her perfectly. And some of the villains, you know, got like redemption arcs and happy endings and stuff like that, but she didn't, because she is just evil because she's evil. There is no rhyme or reason to it. She's just an evil character. And there's no saving Cruella. And she ends up, you know, like dying again, like she dies twice or whatever. It's the story in there that you're missing a lot of context, but she ends up dying again. But
Sure.
but she's just evil. She's evil because she's evil. Like, there's no saving her. She doesn't beat around the bush. She's just like, there's no saving me. I don't want to be saved. I like how I am. I like being evil. I take joy in it. Like, that's what makes me happy.
Yeah.
That's just Cruella. She's just evil. She's an evil character.
She's got the word cruel in her name.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah.
point. She's a
And
cruel
devil,
person.
mind you.
Devil.
Cruel-
And
cruel
devil.
devil.
Cruel devil. I'm a cruel devil, for fuck's sakes. But yeah, like, Stephanie, you're so right. And I thought you were gonna say Glenn Close, because Glenn Close, I thought, did a fantastic job when she did
Hammy,
her
but
Yes, she did.
like her live action. But apparently we don't like, those don't matter anymore, I guess. I don't know. We need live actions for every generation and sub generation. I have no idea what's going on with
well,
Disney.
and this all just makes no sense to me because I've run into I don't know how many videos in the past few months here where you've got them talking about gay coding in Disney and how all these LGBTQ people relate to the villains, and it's like, wait a minute, time out. For years you were bitching and pissing and moaning that you
Mhm.
claim that every villain was gay or this or that or the other, and now all of a sudden you're embracing it. It's like you can't
Mhm.
have your cake and eat it too here, kids. One or the other, right? And this also causes the problem of why there's this strange, like they can't. There always has to be a redemption in the villains because they relate to the villains. Unfortunately, in most cases, not
Well, and
all,
I
but in
think that
most
they need
cases,
to
that's the
like
problem.
really
Yeah.
think. Like really
Yeah.
think, why do you relate more? Why on earth do you relate more to a villain in a story?
Yeah.
Like you
right.
can't find any good in you at all that you can relate to like any of the heroes. There's
Well,
nothing in you that can relate to heroes. You have to resort to relating to villains. Like what is causing that you relate more to like evil, narcissistic, angry, bitter characters? Maybe
And
because
there's
they feel like they should be able to act out on society, right? Like that's the problem.
I think
Is
this is a great segue to our next topic, which is Disney related. And that is another villain being a made show, being a show being made about another villain. Agatha Harkness, who we've been just going for the ride with just the show's name changes. I mean, how many has there been now?
This is like
Five?
genuinely like 6, like 5 or 6.
Okay, 6 then. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
there's been
No,
a
you
lot.
might be right at 5, Stephanie. It's 5. It's
Is it
like
5?
5 or 6.
It's a lot.
It's
Like,
embarrassing is what it is.
it's
It is.
really bad. And the funny part is, I mean, I saw this today from Screen Time, and I thought this was I was like, there's no way that they did this
I thought it was
again.
a
This is
troll.
I did too. I thought this was gonna be fake, and people were gonna be like, I thought this was gonna get community noted, and people
Yeah.
are gonna be like, this is stupid. It's not confirmed. But apparently, Marvel tweeted this out. This is thanks to Memology. Shout out to Memology. And here's a screenshot. Marvel Studios sharing this, and then apparently they deleted it. That's why he's posting this.
Wow.
So they announced
because they're
this
gonna
thing.
change it again. Like seriously, the Lying Witch and the Great Wardrobe. Like, are you really taking from
watch,
Narnia?
they'll
Like,
change
get
it for
get outta
every
here
episode.
with that stupid title. That's why I thought it was a
Yeah.
troll because I was like, oh, okay, maybe the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I get it, right? But
Mhm,
no,
yeah,
it was
same.
a real thing.
Watch them
like-
turn around and change it for every episode. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, they
And what
could.
What gets me with this, if they actually stay with this, because as Steph has said, I mean, this is the like 5th, 6th, what I don't know. Well, we need to go back and count time they've changed the name. They can't even figure out a name for the show that no one really cares about. Let's be real. But if this name is legit, if they don't decide, well, this is embarrassing, let's change it yet again. How are you going to take a show that, let's be real, we know is mid at best? And I say that based off what they've given us. How are you going to take a show like this about a character no one really cares about and compare it to one of the greatest children fantasy books ever written in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and think you were clever with this title?
Yes.
I mean, come
Yes.
on. If you have the
The
guts
audacity.
to do that, if you have
The
audacity to do
audacity that you think that you're writing for Agatha. Okay, a character that fucking got memed on. The audacity you think that you're writing is so good that you are going to give yourself this title, and so that way people can relate to, to put 2 and 2 together, can compare you to the Lion, the Witch. Are you fucking kidding me? The audacity that these writers have.
I think there's so many aspects of this that's funny. First of all, now they have names, like Tom said, for every episode. And the other thing is like, why don't you just go with Agatha? Like, I don't understand why you need a second title. Just call it Agatha and call it a day. Like, why does it need a subtitle? I don't understand.
I got a better question. Why does it even exist? Nobody asked for it.
We all know that. Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
it's because they don't get the meme, right? It was the same.
Yeah,
thing with
because they don't
Morbius, but
understand. Like, people were memeing on it. People weren't fans of her. It's just like Morbius. They're like, oh my god, we're gonna re-release it. It's Morbius time, guys. It's Morbius time. We're gonna re-release it in theater. They don't understand that people were memeing on it. That people were making fun of it.
Yeah,
they're not fans of it.
Oh my god, this is. I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat giving it great names right now. I mean, the chat is just off the hook right now. It's great. But it's just dumb. This is just dumb. And this is like the constant decisions that Disney makes that you're like, I mean, why are you wondering, that you're losing money? Because people are getting paid to come up with these titles. Okay. Like there's a writer's room of people who are getting paid to sit there and come up with a subtitle for the show. And each time they're landing flat on their face and people are making fun of them every time. It's ridiculous.
Maybe the studios need to go on strike from crappy writers. I mean, like this is what you get paid to do, and this is what you come up with. That's pretty bad.
It's wild. Well, the other Marvel news too, by the way, which I didn't pull up. I should have pulled it up. Maybe Tom, you can get it. But the other news was a couple days ago. They came out with the whole thing saying that we're gonna cut out. What was it? Like Kevin Feige said, like 2 to 3 movies a year they're gonna do, or two to three movies a year and TV series. And I was like, that's still too many. Like, why don't you make one quality movie a year? Let's see if you can land that
on quality as opposed to quantity now.
Yes.
Yeah.
His thing. They're focusing on quality, which tells me like, oh, okay, so we were right? Like you were crappy movies because you weren't focusing on the quality stuff. This is shit. It's not the fact that we have like internalized racism, misogyny, all this crap. You're just putting out crap. You're admitting that, right? Because now you're saying that, oh, well, you know what? I think we're going to finally start to focus.
This is like if a restaurant goes,
yes, great point.
We're making too many burgers. That's the problem.
Yes.
Like not addressing that maybe they're not good enough in some way. You're still using the same ingredients as before, but your whole gimmick is to make less of the burgers, and somehow you think that's going to make you money. Or people are still going to want them again, or more people are going to want them. That's not how this works, right?
And also, like, the problem with them is that they've lost all confidence in the audience. Like, we don't trust Disney anymore. They spent so much time focusing on just the quantity of shit to put out. Like, here, put it out. We need a new Marvel show. We need a new Disney movie. We need a new live action movie. And it's all been crap. Everything that's been crap. So people don't trust it anymore.
Well, and somebody could have said, you guys were putting out just as much stuff during the height, of the Infinity War phase, right? So what's the excuse?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like it's the same thing he said about Star Wars, right? You guys go back a few years ago, Bob said, oh yeah, well, the problem is we've done too much too fast. Like, no, you've done too much shit too fast. That's the problem. The difference was as opposed to Star Wars, which was a fast, rolling down the hill, you were slowly sliding down the hill with Marvel as opposed to that. It took a little more time, but that's because they still had some creative people involved in the Marvel field as opposed to none now. Like, there's nobody left. They're all gone.
Well,
even James Gunn is gone. So you're done.
And speaking of Star Wars, I mean, this was the news that came out this week about Star Wars and what they're doing with that. Sigourney Weaver in talks of joining the Mandalorian and Grogu. I mean, I'm guessing they're offering a fuck ton of money for her to do this, because I don't think Sigourney would be doing this otherwise. Why would she? I just don't see it. It's a dying franchise. I mean, she's not
exactly doing a ton of shit.
But
that's true. But she's a name, though.
I will say they clearly had Ripley in mind with the one character that comedian actress woman plays in Mandalorian, and though season 3 was mid at best and sucky on the other episodes, the Mandalorian is like the only thing Disney did that was big for some time. So if you're not following all this, like I get, like if you hear the Mandalorian, that being kind of appealing, because I mean, let's face it, Grogu was everywhere for 3 years.
It's true. He was. I mean, I think in Star Wars, the Mandalorian is their biggest IP. Like
this is for the movie, I
Disney
imagine.
Star Wars
thing.
Tom, what did you say? This is for the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
the Mandalorian movie.
Yes.
Oh, right, because they're making one. That's right.
I don't even think we're going to get a season 4.
No,
I think this is season 4.
Yeah,
I think
the movie's going to wrap it up.
I think you guys might be right about that because I haven't heard a peep about a season 4. So I don't know. I mean, that would be a good question to ask maybe someone like Script Doctor.
Well, and they
would know
opened
better.
up. Well, and during the interview process more recently, I can't remember if it was who exactly it was, Filoni or whoever said it. I think maybe it was even Favreau had said or hinted at that, or was it Carrie Beck or one of the other ones that, you know, Mandalorian doesn't necessarily mean Dingerin or whatever the fuck his name is. So they were setting it up that what's her face could end up taking over for a spin-off Mandalorian show.
This made me laugh.
She's gonna play the Emperor. I will make it illegal.
I like that name too. Did you see the name?
Yeah, Amelia Clark's skull
Oh,
arm. That's
Skrull.
great. Or scroll arm. That's great. Let's get to some of these super chats before we
Let's.
move on to the next topic because we're basically done with Disney, the Disney part. Let's do it.
All right, I'll grab him. You got him?
Your average Patriot nerd sent us in a super
Thumbs up.
sticker. Was it a thumbs up? Oh, thank you. Reminding everybody to smash the thumbs up. Thank you so much. And then KB, thank you for the $2, says, you're welcome, Michelle, and happy birthday again.
Wait, it's your birthday?
No, it's my birthday Friday.
Oh.
So
Oh, happy early birthday.
thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. Go ahead,
Time
Carrie.
out. I do a thing.
Okay, all right.
Because it's a birthday. It's important. Plus, Culture Casino pays me $20 every time I do this, so.
Okay, that makes sense.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Insert kid's name here. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Okay.
Aw,
20
that's
bucks
great.
is 20 bucks.
That's exactly. Thank you, Russell Hall, for the $5. Michelle, you want to grab that?
Yes. Thank you so much, Russell Hall. I say Sisters of Bacon. Is that okay? You want me to read this
Russell
one?
Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was confused by Russell Hall. I was like, I don't see it.
She does this to me every time, too.
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I suggest that all women who believe in Tinkerbell show their support by staging an international short skirt commando skit. You can just stream it.
Hey, she doesn't go commando, Russell. Nice try. She's got
Doesn't
those
she
little
kinda have a
white
leotard
panties.
on?
She's got white panties, doesn't she? I'm pretty sure there's something. Yeah, and leggings. I think she's got leggings going on.
I'm sure the live action version does.
Stephanie, go ahead.
Taylor Swift is overrated and she feasts on felines for $1.99. So Lizzo's the new Tinkerbell?
Probably.
Oh.
Probably. I mean, let's face it. Let's face it. It's happening.
Wouldn't she be
Music.
Twerkerbell?
Oh God. Banana Bell. Oh no. Music hands abrupt. Thank you for the $4.99. It says, I'm gay and I think children should not be exposed to these creatures. I don't know which creatures you mean, but I probably will agree with you. Do you mean fairies like Tinkerbell, or do you mean the other kind? Okay, never mind.
Either that or they're referring to what we're going to be talking about.
Ah, that's true. That is definitely something that they shouldn't do.
The thumbnail.
Mr. Tickle Trunk has been a supporter for, wait, what?
And this is a Rumble rant.
Oh, a Rumble rant. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. It's bad to teach kids that jealousy is bad. Let's get rid of Tinkerbell Disney. Oh, this is true. Go ahead, Carrie.
Chad St. John, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says some DEI hire probably looked at Tinkerbell and said, no way we're having a pretty white girl around here. I think you're right. I think it's about the way she looks and they're just blaming it on her character arc.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I totally agree with this. I think that that's exactly what happened.
They're getting rid of, they got rid of redheads, right? They replaced all the redheads. The next logical step is that they're going to go after the blondes. Yes. Blonde hair, blue eyes, out.
It's out. Go ahead, Michelle.
And thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. The point of Tinkerbell is that she teaches kids what mature and immature love and the reaction of being in love looks like. Yes, let's get rid of her so kids don't learn to grow. I'm thinking he's meaning to grow up.
There should be a second part of it there.
Oh, grow up.
Yeah, grow up.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Steph. I think there was some fat bitch in the office that was jealous of Tinkerbell, which is completely ironic.
Very. The jealousy is so funny.
I guess I've just never really, I guess her outfit's a little more revealing, but I've just never in my mind like thought of Tinkerbell like sexual or anything.
That
like,
fat
I don't
bitch was
know.
at some Halloween party and some chick dressed as sexy Tinkerbell stole her man. You don't understand, Michelle.
Hold
I'm the
on.
only one who thinks of these things, evidently.
I mean, is it really? Hold on, I'm pulling up a picture. I mean,
I'm just
really
making this shit up, guys. Anybody don't take me seriously.
Well, no,
I'm not
but
taking. It's not.
Yeah,
that
we know it's because of how she looks, though. Again, back to the fact they made a whole movie on Maleficent and Cruella, so it's not about her character.
My point is, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to make Tinkerbell a sexy Tinkerbell Halloween costume. I'm just saying.
No,
it wouldn't be.
Well, they exist.
They do exist.
That was my point. And that's where I don't think my speculation is too far off.
Dark King for 2 says trying for the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And yes, great minds think alike, because I think that right as your super chat came in, Steph was saying the same
What's
thing.
sad is I think, or do they anymore? Disney did own the rights to those books. I don't know if they still
Didn't
do.
they? Oh, I don't know if the books.
Netflix bought it.
Yeah, you're right, Michelle. I believe you're right. Yep.
Because Greta Gerwig is supposed to make them.
Oh,
that's right.
God.
That's right. Now that you
Which
mention it,
which is concerning.
Yeah.
Oh,
yikes!
I did not know that.
Just what we needed.
Wait, whose turn is it? Is it Michelle's turn? I think it's Michelle's turn.
I'll
Go
grab
ahead,
this one.
Michelle.
And Too Tired, thank you for the $5 super chat. Narnia was based on Christianity allegories. I see the new Agatha title as further insult to Christians. Disney just can't help themselves. I actually had that thought. I don't know that they. I don't like to apply bad intent because I don't know, but it wasn't the smartest move. I would put it that way.
Well, and
To take
I don't know
something
who
that is the most iconic Christian allegory for kids, fantasy, and based on a witch character, not wise.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels to that.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funky because I don't know who here all saw the new Apes movie this weekend besides me.
I didn't. I want to though.
I had an interesting, I had an interesting conversation with Michelle about how this movie wears the religious allegory like literally around its neck. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Even more so than the other films did. And seeing this movie now, I had to I rewatched the other three, and I'm like, oh, okay, so the first three are Exodus and Moses and all that stuff. This one's like, other stuff. So I was kind of surprised that got past Disney and they didn't do anything about it, because it's very heavily like you even got a character named Noah and there's a flood in the movie.
Wow,
okay, I was like, they're pretty on the nose with some of this stuff.
Really on the nose.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And I'm
I
just
can't wait to
surprised
see
it
it.
got through their people. I mean, it's not a great
it.
movie overall. It's compared to the first three, but it's fun. But it was just like, I'm watching this movie, I'm going, God, this is some heavy religious allegory for a Disney film.
That's crazy. Did you like it, Stephanie?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's not great, but
all right.
Yeah, it was okay. And no way near as good as the first three.
No.
Okay, that's sad. All right.
What were you gonna say,
Michelle? It was a little. There were times when I was watching, I was a little bored.
Yeah, it could have used a good edit of about 10-15 minutes at least.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's getting to the point though, Tom, like with the people Disney has, allegory would go right under their nose if it's done well, because they don't know it anyways,
They don't know it, yeah.
Yeah.
They probably don't even know who Noah is, right? Like,
no,
this is so on the nose that
probably not. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Jason Webster for 5. Star Wars is so dead. It's already been buried, and Mark Hamill gave the eulogy.
Ooh, it's true.
That was so cringe.
The video of him this week, I saw that. It's awful.
That video, the picture. I mean, did you guys see the picture with fucking Wesley Crusher? I mean, oh my God, that was so
much
cringe.
soy and TDS in one picture.
I know. I was like, oh my God, like holy shit! There's not enough soy milk in the world for that picture.
Blue soy milk.
Russell Hall, thank you for the $2. Says, who is this Russell Hall person you speak of? A huge fan, a massive fan that I really appreciate. Thank you, Russell. Okay, let's get to the main topic here. We have a lot to talk about with regards to the show. There's a show called. Actually, wait. Maybe we should do the Doctor Who thing first. Yeah, let's do Doctor Who first because then somebody else might still join us. So Doctor Who is also in the news. And he's gay, guys. I don't know if you knew. But Doctor Who's gay.
Okay.
He is?
Yeah.
Gay,
And
gay, gay, he's so fucking gay, 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 gay.
I got 2 of those.
woo! Gay. Okay. Here he is talking about his experience as Doctor Who.
I think that there will be no way to not. You have to address race. I think like the Doctor has been. This is the first time the Doctor has been black for this long, and he tends to spend most of his time on Earth. It's a favorite of his, and so yeah, it would be essential to explore race within this tenure. It's something that I would want to do, and like, I don't think you could ignore it. You can't ignore my chocolateness, so we're not going to ignore that. I think that there will be no way.
Okay, so you can't
Good song again.
ignore.
I
his
want to
chocolate.
ignore his chocolateness.
Just stop yourself with the ignoring of the chocolatey goodness. Now this individual here is also on Doctor Who, and that clip, the one before, was addressing this episode where they're doing kind of like a hairspray thing. They're doing like a musical. So it was like, yeah, we're in the 60s and we got to talk about Black people in the 60s, of course, because, you know, he's a time traveler and he's going to the 60s and he's Black. So, of course, we got to talk about race. And then speaking of race, RuPaul's Drag Race star, Jinx Monsoon, who plays the over-the-top villain Maestro in the new Doctor Who, says, who gives a fuck what bigots think, in response to the racist, homophobic backlash. Nudie, I can't say his name.
Shooty Gatwa, I guess.
Shooty Gatwa? Okay.
Gesundheit.
Shooty? Okay, thank you. Gatwa, the 15th Doctor, has faced because of his casting. He said, this person said, and quote, for every transphobic, racist, bigot Doctor Who fan that we lose this season, there are going to be 3 to 5 new fans who are coming in for the representation. So to those fans who are not fans, I say don't let the door hit you on the way out. That is what this person had to say about the old fans of Doctor Who, thinking that there's going to be new fans coming in to watch the show, which I call bullshit on.
I don't believe you.
Shit.
Imagine being so out of touch like that.
I know. It's so crazy. Now, to be candid about Doctor Who, I was a fan of the franchise. I watched it from basically like the re-entry of Doctor Who to to our generation, like the 10th Doctor. I forget
Christopher Eccleston.
Eccles. Thank you. Thank you. Eccleston was the first one. And then I stopped watching Doctor Who after Matt Smith left because I didn't like the girl in it. Like the girl, I just didn't like Clara. I thought she was terribly written and I just couldn't stand her. So I was like, you know what? I'm out for now. The writing was just becoming awful. And right after that, they had the female Doctor, and now they have this Doctor, and I didn't tune in for any of it. So that's my experience. What is you guys' experience with Doctor Who? Carrie, did you ever watch the show?
I was a huge fan. I almost got a tattoo of the TARDIS on my arm, which I'm so glad that my ex-husband talked me out of that. I went to the Doctor Who conventions in Los Angeles. These were niche, like small conventions just for this IP. You know, I had all kinds of Doctor Who merchandise, my wallet, my keychain, I had a little it was a device that would light up and had a Cyberman in it, and it would spin around when I got a text message on my BlackBerry. Like I was
Wow,
super
big fan.
into. I was a big fan. I bought the products. I loved it. I loved Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. I loved David Tennant. I quit
Same.
watching after Tennant though, but I couldn't get on board with Matt Smith. I took off earlier than you, and then once I heard after Smith they brought in a woman, but they didn't just bring in a woman. Okay, that's what they're doing with this Doctor too. They're not just bringing in a Black person and a gay person. They're making it a big deal. They're making it a part of the marketing. They're woke. It's not that the Doctor was a woman. It's that the Doctor was woke. It's not that the Doctor's a Black queer man. By the way, I want to point that out. If you read the press, he says the Doctor is queer and he's queer. That's different than gay. Queer is a political ideology. They're signaling right there that he's woke. And so to me, it's like, it's beyond repulsive that they've destroyed this beloved character in this IP. And it's funny that they're saying, first of all, they're mislabeling everyone. If you don't like it, you're a bigot. If you don't like woke, bullshit. There's a ton of gay people. There's a ton of gay people who don't like it anymore because it's woke. You don't speak for them. Quit trying to speak for them. And so, but they're trying to write it off as like, oh, you're just a bigot. And then they're saying, and we don't care. We don't need you to watch. Well, I guess you do because your ratings are in the toilet.
What about you, Michelle and Stephanie? Do you guys have experience with Doctor Who before we show the next thing?
I've never watched any Doctor Who, so no, I do not.
Okay. What about you, Stephanie?
I've watched a little bit of Doctor Who. Jed sort of showed me Doctor Who. He showed me like some episodes that he thought I would like, and I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the episodes that I've seen, but I didn't like grow up liking Doctor Who. However, I think Carrie is 100% on point with this. It's not that the new Doctor was a woman or that this new Doctor is Black and queer. It's not about that. It doesn't have to be about that. They're making it about that. And the fact that they're actually saying that for every racist, bigot, transphobe that we lose, we're going to get 3 to 4 new fans. You're not going to get 3 to 4 new fans. That's an invisible audience. Like that's a fake audience. There's no audience out there.
That's a cope.
You would be damned if you would get like a Gen Alpha fan, right? Who they can't focus for the life of them. Okay, they can't stay focused on anything nowadays. You really are gonna try and get those people. Like they love TikTok for a reason. They're short ass things. They're short. They're not gonna sit still and watch a whole show. They're not going to the movie theaters. They're not going to shows. The fans that you want are the fans that you already have. The ones that will sit down and watch a Doctor Who episode. Look at Star Wars. Look at Star Wars. They were pandering to this fake audience that they thought existed somewhere out there.
Preach.
And because of that, because they were pandering to them and saying, you old fans, we don't need you anymore. We have a potential new audience that we know is out there and that they're going to love our stuff. And we're going to like really improve and push Disney Plus. Star Wars is going to be awesome again. You'll see. And they ended up sucking. We haven't gotten any new, like really good Star Wars, right? It's not good. Star Wars is in the toilet. Star Wars is trash. Like,
well, you guys,
not even John can come in and save it. Okay.
I mean, you guys are so bright, and Stephanie, you hit the nail on the head. But you guys want to know what the funniest thing of all is? Even the media is like, dude, this sucks. What are you talking about? Doctor Who episode 3 spoiler-free reviews. Stephen Moffat's explosive return as a bit of a dud. Wah wah. This is basically on the heels of what that trans character person said about the one being Carrie leaving and the 3 progressive people coming in, or 3 to 5 progressives coming as new fans, when they're giving a show that's even being reviewed shit by the mainstream media. They're like, my God, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it's just terrible. I mean, you could tell that, as Donald Trump says, everything woke goes to shit. And this is literally exactly what's happened with Doctor Who. It has gone to shit. This show used to be so fun. dealt with a lot of interesting themes, psychology, the idea of immortality, living past, your loved ones. There's so many good themes in this that, I mean, to this day, I would still say, like, to somebody like Michelle, who's never seen the show, that they should check out the older Doctor Who's, because the older Doctor Who's were fantastic. Like some of the really, really good sci-fi, just super fun, excellent, really good themes. But this garbage, this is not Doctor Who anymore. This is a facsimile of Doctor Who. Just like, I mean, I just saw the same thing happen with The Simpsons. Like I just saw a clip going on with The Simpsons, and The Simpsons is fucking garbage now. It's like a facsimile of what it used to be. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Exactly. Same thing with Star Wars.
Simpsons went to hell before woke, but yeah.
It's like
that's true, Tom.
People that they're bringing in too. The people that they're bringing in to work on these IPs, to write for these IPs, don't fucking care about these IPs. They don't care. There's no passion to do this. All they see is holy shit, right? I'm just gonna lie on my little resume and say, oh my god, yeah, I've always been a fan of this, right? Because that's what you hear. That's what you hear all the time. Oh, I've always been a fan of this franchise. I've always been a fan of this franchise. But I really would like to see myself in this. I don't see myself in this franchise. I want to see myself in this franchise.
I know they're lying?
If you're a true fan, you wouldn't have to see yourself in anything, right? You would just be a fan of it because you're a fan of it and you love these characters. The people that they're bringing in, they're not fans of these franchises. They don't care about it. All they see is a really big IP that they can use to preach whatever they want to preach through this franchise. And that's why it's sucking.
The message. And this is here's Nerdrotic tweeting about, of course, Doctor Who. I think he's the one that coined the RIP Doctor Who hashtag, which they constantly refer to now in the media as well. Like these bigots talking about RIP. Like, it's so funny.
True.
All right. Yeah, it is true, but it's so funny because they say like the alt-right came up with it and it was fucking Gary. And it's just so funny. So this is here's a screenshot for a couple of headlines. Doctor Who star shooting Gatwa responds to racist homophobic backlash, turn off the TV and go touch grass. Next article, shooting Gatwa says he feels sad for those tuning out of the new season of Doctor Who because of its push for diversity.
That's what I'm saying.
No one's watching.
You're telling all of these fans of Doctor Who, I don't want you to watch my show. It's not made for you. So you know what? They stop watching. Those are the people. You would think that like they would pander to the fans that are already fucking there, right? That is your job. You are creating for this particular fandom who has existed for years and years and years. You would think that in their mind, we want our project to be successful. We want people to watch. We want really good ratings. We want to potentially make money off of what we're doing. So you would think that they would have it in their mind to continue on with the franchise the way it's always been, because that's why these fans are here, because they love this franchise. So you would think that they would take time and really nurture it and really like put it out there and give fans what they want, but they're not doing that. Even the actor whose job it is to act, he's taking everything so fucking personally. You know,
he's making it all about himself. If you're a true fan of these IPs, that you shouldn't take things personally, because every single fan, if you're a fan of any IP, you're going to criticize like anybody new coming in, right? Look at David Cornsweat and
I was just going to bring that up.
That
just came out. People criticize the hell out of that. You don't hear him really saying anything about it, right? You don't take it personally. You don't take it personally because people aren't criticizing the actor. They're criticizing like the look of the new Doctor, whatever, until the actor opens up their fucking mouth. And then that's when fans will criticize the actor. So if the actor himself opens up his mouth and tells fans, you know what, we don't want you here, go touch grass, people will start to criticize the actor himself and say, you know what, fuck you. Okay, I will go touch grass. Your show can go down the shit.
Yes. And to your point, Stephanie, which was great, to your point, someone who turned that conversation around was Sydney Sweeney, because Sydney Sweeney came out off a fucking terrible movie that was like everybody shitted on that movie. Mind you, like she's really pretty, but her attitude about the movie wasn't like, oh well, you know, you toxic fucking males coming to watch our feminine movie. You know, you can go fuck yourselves. That wasn't her attitude. Her attitude was to make fun of the movie and how much it sucked and being like, well, I mean, you know, the fans didn't like it. So it's just her attitude made people like her even more. And now she's a megastar because of what she actually said about that flop. It's actually kind of really interesting to see the rise of Sydney Sweeney in that sense, because honestly, nobody knew who she was before that clip, really. Like everybody was like, oh yeah, she's around, I guess, just an up and coming star. But then that clip went viral with how she dealt with the backlash of Madam Web, and it was really interesting.
She has that self-awareness that you kind of need. And I think that a lot of people go back to like what Henry Cavill said, you know, like how do you deal with the toxic fandom, blah, blah. He's like, well, fans aren't toxic, they're just passionate. But there's a reason that he has that answer, that people go back to him and what he says. There's a reason that he has that answer, because he himself is a fucking nerd. He is a fan of these IPs, so he can view it from the point of view of a fan. So he understands that. But these people who are, you know, being cast and being hired aren't really fans of this IP. They're just pretending to be fans so they can get the job, right? They're not real fans of it. So they don't have that point of view. They can't look at it that way. They take everything personally, which I think is hilarious, because I feel like if you want to be in the business of Hollywood, you should have really thick skin, because you are constantly, as an actor or whatever, you're constantly getting judged,
rejected,
and looked at. You're always getting rejected. You have to have thick skin, and for them to like take shit that people say on the internet so fucking personally and to be so thin-skinned is hilarious.
It's really funny. It's like, what the hell happened to Hollywood and like all these actors? Well, I do know that Set movie, kind of that documentary that came out, kind of painted a picture. No wonder they're all like, messed up. Let's get to these super chats, and then we're going to the next topic. Hardcore Kirsty, thank you for being here. Sends a $5 super chat. Oh, shoot, I'm late. I got distracted cleaning and listening to Catherine Bryan's stand-up. Totally give her a listen. Heart you ladies, thank you. And you too, Tom. Thank you, Hardcore Kirsty. I've never heard of Catherine Bryan before. I'm gonna have to look her up. I don't have my pen here, but I'll try and remember this. Thank you. Go ahead, Carrie.
Russell Hall is my hero for $1.99. Thank you so much. So stop picking on Russell Hall. He's a real hero.
Oh, Russell Hall super fan right there. Go ahead, Michelle.
And thank you, Lord, for $5 for the $5 super chat. RTD used a TARDIS to recruit actors and journalists from 2016 to promote Doctor Who. Only way to explain why these idiots think this talk works.
Yes, he brought some people from the past.
It's wild what happened to this dude. I mean, I can't believe he actually was involved in making like the original, like not the original, obviously, Carrie, but like, I'm talking about like the pre-woke era. Like he's the one that brought it back. And then it's like, he's got, absolutely off the rails. Like, it's just so crazy. And it's not like Doctor Who never had like gay people in it. Remember Captain Jack? My God.
And they didn't beat you over the head with it, Jack. They didn't beat you. It wasn't like, that's the thing. That's how you know they're liars, when they call everybody bigots. Nobody complained about Captain Jack.
Nobody cared.
You want to create this boogeyman. You're trying to create it. And when it doesn't exist, you just pretend like it does and say, oh, all of these people are bigots. Okay, dude, whatever.
Well, and I've seen a lot of people defend, I think, Davies and others that were there before. It's like, you got to stop and think. They probably would have done this shit prior to this, but nobody else would let them then. That's the difference.
Interesting point, Tom. Interesting point. By the way, do you like Doctor Who, Tom? I didn't ask you. Riveting.
I grew up seeing a few episodes here and there on PBS, but I never really got into it. I went into a bit of it this morning. Like I said, I feel bad for all the fans and what they're dealing with, and I understand how popular and important this is, and not just like the UK, but all over the world. And I kind of compared it to this whole idea of replacing these quote unquote bigot fans, because that's the other thing they're doing. They're literally calling you a bigot if you don't agree with this, right? Without any context in there and all that kind of stuff. And then on top of it all, to me, this is like if Burger King said tomorrow, like, you know what, from now on, all of our burgers are going to be vegetarian burgers. I think that we're going to get more customers as long as we serve only vegetarian burgers. Thinking they're going to retain the old customers who are going to take one bite of that Whopper and spit it out and go, what the fuck is this salty, nasty shit?
Yeah.
It tastes like seaweed, right? Like, no way they're going to eat that crap. So that'd be the equivalent of something like that. And I don't even, and again, it makes no sense to anybody, you know, other than I've looked at this and I've said it before, like Kathleen Kennedy and certain other people, they may not have the direct agenda that these people do over at the Doctor Who show. Like, it feels like they are directly attacking the old fans, and they're directly doing this shit on purpose to both piss off and erode the old fan base, and somehow in their eyes make it safe for these other people that were already there or aren't going to be interested in the first place, right? One or the other. So to me, it just goes right back to my analogy about trying to make Burger King all vegetarian burgers. Who are you serving here for this?
And they're insulting the original audience. They have contempt for the audience, which I know Steph's talked about before. They have contempt. It's as if Burger King became an all vegetarian restaurant overnight and then was like, piss off, meat eaters, we hate you. What?
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna take
Did you guys
burger
see
out of
that
the title.
headline? Did you guys see that other headline? I forgot to grab that one, but there was another one going around about Doctor Who that somebody wrote. I think it was on the Mirror, like UK, and they were like, Doctor Who was never made for you white people.
Yeah,
and I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
what
I saw that.
are you for real? Like, Doctor
we got a
Who
video
has
coming
been
about
white
that.
men for the longest time. How is that not made for white people?
It's
Did you actually
nothing
catch
fake.
that they changed it? The
I didn't
original
see they
title
changed
said,
it.
sorry, straight white men, Doctor Who was never made for you. And then they changed it to just
does it
for
say now?
you.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
just for
Yeah.
you.
I remember the never part because I laughed at that. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
it's too late. The other version already made,
funniest thing.
you know, the rounds, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was it? Yeah, it was the Metro newspaper. Okay, I
Yeah,
got it wrong.
Metro,
I thought it was
Metro.
Mirror. Either way, it started with an M. I got it. That's funny. Okay. Michelle, you want to get this one?
I will. JJ Gosling, thank you. Okay, is that the pound or euro? I forget every time.
That is a pound.
That's a pound.
Okay, thank you for the 2 pounds. I heart D.W. McCoy was my doctor as a kid. Pertwee #1.
Oh, I never watched those older ones.
Carrie, do you know what he's talking
Pertwee.
about?
I've only watched a few of those, but I know today people were posting Pertwee memes on my timeline. So
it's got to be great.
a favorite.
And then go ahead, Stephanie.
Hardcore curtsy for Hugh Laurie is my favorite doctor, and he played jazz.
Oh,
Wait, isn't that from the show House?
House, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
that's great. I never watched House.
I've watched a couple of episodes. I like it. I like
I've
the ones
heard.
that I watched, at least. Yeah.
I've heard really good things about it. I just never got into it. I've never been into like doctor shows. Like I just never got into like anything to do with medicine, like ER or like any of
No?
those, like Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, I used to watch Grey's Anatomy all the time.
Dude, that show is still going. I'm
It's
like,
still
how
on,
is this
yeah.
even possible?
Yeah, I stopped watching after they killed off McDreamy. I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
It's still going because TV networks figured out there's 5 shows. There's 5 shows, and you just keep remaking those 5 shows. And this time they realized, oh, instead of just making another Doctor show, we'll just keep the same one going.
That kind of makes sense.
If you think about it, it's not.
Jeremy.
I'm not wrong. Like, there's
No,
a cop
I don't
show, a
think you
doctor
are.
show. Like,
The only one that's missing now is a lawyer show. I mean, do we
we need
even
an
have
old.
really
We
good
need an
one?
old. Yeah, we need an old person solving crimes. That's what we're missing right now.
Yeah, we need a lawyer show too, like Law and Order.
Yeah,
Is CSI
Law and
still
Order's not
going?
on
I don't know
anymore?
if CSI.
I was gonna say CSI is still going.
I'm
yeah.
shocked they haven't made Matlock a gay black fat woman yet.
Right.
Matlock was never made for you guys.
Starring Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Jeremy
Matlock. I'm here
Winfield,
to
for being a
solve a
member
crime.
for 10 months. Sorry, what was that, Tom? Do that again.
I said Matlock, starring Whoopi Goldberg. I'm here to solve a crime, and I'm gay.
I'm queer. Look, I
And
wanted to say
queer.
to Stephanie's point earlier about she's so right on that it's hilarious that they think they're going to win over Gen Alpha, to sit down and watch a whole episode. No way. And Steph, while you were saying that, you made me think the only way they would be able to do that is if they made Doctor Who just a series of TikToks with the actor going, "I'm black and I'm queer and I'm Doctor Who."
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's it. And
You
that's
can't
all.
handle my
That's the
chocolateness.
entire episode.
The
Yeah.
whole episode.
You can't handle my
yeah.
chocolateness has T-shirt written all over it. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
There are 3 Law and Order shows running on NBC Net. Look,
I was gonna
first of all,
say, yeah.
Penny, I don't watch NBC.
And I don't know if the original CSI
What?
is still going, but I know at least a half a dozen of its spin-offs still are. But yeah.
But hang on, but also Law and Order, like we need like a new one. Law and Order's old now. Like we need a new law show. Like I was watching The Good Wife for a while. That was great. And then then that show ended and they had that spin-off, which is The Good Fight. And that was like TDSville. It was crazy. And now it's over.
I was just
Oh
reminded.
my gosh. Wait a
Hmm.
minute. Somebody in the chat said Kathy Bates is playing
I
Matlock
just-
now. And
Yes,
it's
I was
not,
just about to tell you that. Yes.
What?
it's not a joke. I
Are
just
you
looked it up.
serious?
It's real.
Yeah.
What?
Pull it up. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Pull it up.
Kathy Bates is Matlock. I was just reminded of this. I was
What?
like, oh yeah.
Taylor Swift is overrated and she feasts on felines for $1.99.
Hey,
Says,
Dio.
if we're talking about favorite doctors, Michelle's is mine.
She is a doctor.
Oh, she's a doctor. This is true. Somebody pull up
Thank
this Kathy situation. Who's
Yeah,
pulling it up?
I forgot this whole thing about this. Yeah.
Unbelievable. New series coming soon on CBS.
Yep.
I was just joking about them diversifying Matlock.
No,
I'm
yeah.
telling you not to give people ideas, Carrie. They listen to us all the time.
We were so close too. It's just not Whoopi.
she's just not black. That's the funny
Yeah.
part.
Close enough. I'm sure she's still going to be a lesbian. It wouldn't be the first time Kathy Bates has played one.
Oh my god.
Maddie is what they're going to call her in the show.
Why is this happening?
Madeline Maddie Matlock.
No.
What? I want off this fucking planet.
Grandpa
hate, like,
Simpson would be so upset right now.
I know. Like, I hate when we joke about something and then you're like, oh, by the way, that's actually real.
You know what's
like,
sad is in real
no.
life, Grandpa Simpson would have died like 20 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay,
my
so
God,
yeah.
this is so
I
sad.
do remember vaguely that being announced, yeah.
Go ahead, Carrie.
ActionCom for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, ladies, apparently there was a debate on whether it's a good or bad thing to have hot scenes in films. What's your opinion? Well, I don't know where that debate happened, but are you saying it was online? But I don't mind a hot scene now and then. I just don't like it when it's just that's the whole point of the movie is hot scenes. I like it when it's part of the storyline, like most women, you know. Let me think of a great example. Okay, from the 80s, Top Gun. There's a hot scene in Top Gun. I like that scene. That's just, but you know, it's not over the top. It's not gratuitous. It's not just nudity for the sake of nudity. I like it to be a part of the storyline.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with that. Like, I mean, I don't mind spicy scenes in movies when it doesn't become like softcore porn.
Yeah.
And you're just
I
like,
think,
okay,
I
like,
think for those kind of movies, it also has to be earned. Like Top Gun's a good example of one that's
Mhm.
earned.
yeah.
right? And it's tastefully done. You
Mhm.
know, it's within the boundaries of PG-13 kind of range. You know, it's not
Mhm.
Skinamax level.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, I think it depends on the definition of hot. Like my definition may not be what your definition is.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, Michelle. But I think I know where this debate's coming from. And actually, this is something I've been working on in the background with Andres. There was a study that come out, and I don't know if I brought it up on here or not, but millennials and Zoomers are confused and they're getting sick of sex in movies. And I think the problem is just because they haven't had stuff like this, right? It used to be sparingly used in you know, general audience films, unless you were going to see some like teen sex comedy, right? Then you expected it. That's the difference, right? Like, or a horror film, like you would expect to see some flopping titties some point in Friday the 13th movie, right? But if you're going to see Top Gun, you're expecting, you know, probably a hot scene between Tom Cruise and Kelly, and yeah, it makes sense.
You know, when I like soap opera hotness. You remember, did anybody ever watch soap operas?
Yeah, of course. I love it.
Like borderline Harlequin kind of stuff.
Like 16-bit mascot says, "Kiss under the covers, fade to black with pleasant music." Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most women probably enjoyed the scene in The Notebook, but it was PG-13. It only shows so much. It's really built up to this moment.
Let's call a spade. Like, we're talking like Game of Thrones was one of the shows that really brought like sex and stuff out. And I didn't
not just
mind
that
a lot of it.
psychosexual type stuff too, and taboo stuff. It did.
Yeah, and I didn't mind like a lot of it, but sometimes it was like way too focused on the sex versus like the actual episode being like story driven of like what's happening. And it's like all of a sudden we're just seeing people bang for no reason, and I'm like, okay,
welcome to HBO.
Yeah, can we go on with the story?
No, that's what HBO always used to be. Like, people forgot that.
I know, it's true. Yeah,
there's a lot of random nudity.
And like Nina, I've not watched Game of Thrones, so you can correct me if this isn't right with some of the cases. But like, I think what people don't like, at least what I don't like, is when it's just sex for the point of sex too. And when you do that, I've been thinking of this lately. Hollywood doesn't know anymore how to, or in a lot of TV shows even, they don't know how to build sexual tension.
Yes.
You have to build sexual tension to make people be invested in it. Or why would we, if we just see two people banging, there's no tension there. It's all being relieved in that moment. Like, it's not like, I just don't think that's well written, quite frankly.
Well, I think
it's like you said, it's just soft porn.
Millennials have been so, millennials and the younger people younger than us, they have been so conditioned when it comes to sex, in my opinion. Like, they don't, they were raised on lies, first of all, that you can separate it from the emotional. I think that's a lie anyway, that you can separate, that it means nothing, that it is sort of a consumeristic kind of take a little here, take a little there, maybe get some from porn, it's this sort of consumer approach to just viewing people as objects that you use for sexual gratification. And they've also simultaneously been raised with these lies from the feminist part of woke about verbal, like, consent constantly, where it's like, do you consent to me putting my arm here? Do you consent to me kissing your ear? Do you consent to me? So there can be no buildup. There can be no romance because they've been raised to believe that you're constantly like having to be like, verbally be like, is it okay for me to, you know, plant a kiss on your cheek now? Oh my gosh, stop.
I've been watching Sex in this, rewatching Sex in the City, I should say, recently. And there's a lot of nudity and sex scenes in Sex in the City, but it's all done very tastefully, and it's all done very like in line with the story, you know, like it's just always in line with the actual story. Some of them are very extremely spicy, and some of them are very, you know, quick, soft, whatever. But it's it always works with the story. So I don't mind any of that when it's not focused just on the
I'm going to show you one of the scenes that most people consider one of the most romantic scenes in cinema history, and not one piece of clothing comes off.
Yep.
Or
hey,
was there
worship, I'm only trying to help.
To ask for, but just saying.
Please stop calling me that.
Sure, Leia.
You make it so difficult sometimes.
I do, I really do. You could be a little nicer, though. Come on, admit it. Sometimes you think I'm all right.
Here's sexual tension.
Occasionally, maybe. When you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
What they're missing. That's what they're missing. They don't understand the buildup. They don't understand that sexual tension you need to create. Where until it's like that. There's another scene from one of my favorite movies, Gilda, where she he pulls in Rita Hayworth, and he's like. She's like, I don't know if I love you or hate you, Johnny. Like, you know, it's like it's a thin line, right? Like between love and hate.
The fact that you hate me means you love me.
Yeah, that's what you need to capture. And they're just so bad at it now.
They're bad at it, but they don't know how.
Scoundrel.
You need
I like the sound of that.
in your life anyway.
Stop that.
Stop what?
Stop that. My hands are dirty.
My hands are dirty too. What are you afraid of?
Afraid?
You're trembling.
I'm not trembling.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
I'm a nice man.
Very nice.
And then Goldenrod comes in and fucks it up.
Here's the
goddamn
scene
gay
I was
robot.
talking about. Here's the scene I was talking about. This is one of my favorite movies. I love this movie. It's called Guilty.
I love
yeah.
this movie too. Yes.
So good.
This is a good one. Yeah. I don't think you shared the audio.
I don't think you shared the there's no
Oh.
audio.
Oops. Hang on. Why is there no audio? That's weird. It says also share audio.
Close down. You're getting out of here.
Now it's working.
Are we, Johnny? Are we?
Not we. You.
You do hate me, don't you, Johnny?
I don't think you have any idea how much.
Hate is a very exciting emotion. Haven't you noticed? Very exciting. I hate you too, Johnny. I hate you so much that I think I'm going to die from it.
There you go.
Amazing.
And I'll quote a line from probably what's considered the most romantic film of all time. You need to be kissed and often by someone who knows how. Can any of the ladies tell me what movie that was from?
No, what is that from?
Gone with the Wind. Come on.
I was circling my brain. You didn't
Frankly,
give me
my
enough
dear,
time.
I don't give a damn.
Yep.
It was at the tip of my tongue.
I've only seen that like twice.
I've seen it like 3 times.
I've never seen it.
Really?
What? That's crazy.
I've never
It
seen
is
it.
a very romantic film in that respect.
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I just finished watching. You know, the conversation about less sex in movies. It's interesting. I just finished reading the article. So I do remember seeing that article, but I don't remember like what the article said. So I just finished reading that conversation. It's interesting that that conversation is being had right now because Gen Z, they don't know how to form relationships. They've been raised online. They're like, and then not only that, but we have like the next generation coming up who have been raised like totally online with the iPad kids, Gen Alpha. They don't know how to create actual legitimate like relationships with people. So because of that, things like hugging, kissing, being intimate with another person is foreign to them. They're scared of it because they don't know how to create that type of a relationship with people. And so I was reading the article and it says that like out of 1,500 surveyed, 51% want to see more platonic relationships and friendships being portrayed more because those are the only relationships that they have online with people. They can
This
be
is part of that thing I was talking about just before. Yeah, this study that was done by UCLA and this other story that's been coming out. And this is a study that was done late last year. And you're right, Steph. And that was a big point of it that we're going to get into is that they don't understand the difference between an actual relationship and friends with benefits and things of that sort.
And it's so funny because Gen Z has also been labeled the loneliest generation. They're lonely. They don't know how to create even friendships. So I think that's why they want to see friendships on TV because they don't know how to form friendships of their own. They're also labeled as the loneliest generation. It's really sad.
There's really you're hitting on something so important, stuff. I think there's something there about them being so lonely and not these surveys you're talking about, the studies, you can find a number of these headlines about Gen Z. They feel uncomfortable during sex scenes and they say they have to grin and bear it. And I think it's because you're seeing ultimate like vulnerability and they're not vulnerable with each other. They're not vulnerable with anyone, even with their friends. I don't think they are lonely. Most of their relationships it seems to be online. predominantly.
And Carrie, let's not forget that during the past couple of years, and the kids being born during those couple of years were basically told to stay 6 feet apart from each other. They were told you can't touch each other, you can't hug each other. I mean, a certain amount of people.
That's important because here we are now, 4 years away from that whole thing. So you have a whole group of kids that have now become what would normally be dating age, who and Steph and Carrie are hitting exactly the nail on the head from what the reports I'm getting into and talking about it, and what the video will probably be keying in on, and that's just it, is they don't know how to form actual friendships and relationships.
That's why their parasocial relationship with online people is so important to them. That's why they stan characters from TV shows, because they want those relationships that they can't are unable to form for themselves.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
It's sad, yeah.
Well, and
I agree with you too.
Really quick too, another reason, Steph, as you're talking, they might want just friendships. If you think about it, in today's writing, they almost won't let two guys be bros,
be friends,
girlfriends. It's always sexual. They make those relationships sexual.
Look at the movie Bros. It's even got the title Bros, and it's about a bunch of gay dudes. You can't have bros anymore. It's just
look
weird.
at all the debate around Ghostbusters recently.
Or that. I mean, it's just
and I don't think 5 years ago we would have had that debate. We would have just seen them as friends. But now, and actually, this is funny because I just talked to a friend of mine who happens to be a lesbian and married to a woman, and he brought up that she saw the new Ghostbusters film. Well, I've got a lot of friends actually. And she just happened to bring up, we were in a conversation, she happened to bring up she watched the new Ghostbusters film, and I said, oh, how did you feel about the relationship between Phoebe and the ghost? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it's been going around, and she's not somebody who hangs out online or anything like that. She's like, it's been this huge debate online about, them being lesbian or whatever, and she's like, she looks at me funny, and she seriously, it felt like she was silent for 30 seconds, but it was probably 10. And she goes, if people think that's the way lesbians flirt, they're fucking idiots.
I gotta see it, so I know the context.
So she's like, maybe there was 2 or 3 things in there you could see in that respect, but you're really stretching. She said, she's like, can't women just be friends?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
They don't know the difference. These younger people, I think because of all the things people have mentioned, they're lonely. They struggle to have relationships, even friendships. They don't know the difference. They think sex is transactional. They think probably friendships are transactional. Someone in the chat said transactional.
Yes.
Perfect word.
Oh, yeah.
And they blur the lines on relationships that are just friends. They see romance in it because they don't know. And then when they see actual romance or a love scene, they get uncomfy. I hate that word. They use that word. I'm uncomfy. Everything's like baby language for them. They're babies.
Oh, they're so gross. It's so funny that you guys bring that up because again, I've been rewatching Sex and the City, and Sex and the City is about 4 single women living in the city, right? That's how it starts, and they're all friends. And one of them, Miranda, she's kind of like the tomboy-ish of the group. So she's always had the tomboy look, but she's straight. She's a straight woman. But if that show was going to be made today, she would 100% be gay.
She is gay. No, she is gay. They brought it back, right? So they have what is it
apparently
called?
They changed it, right? They gave her a gay.
They changed the entire show. So
oh my god.
Sex and the City is one of those shows that they deem problematic. So if it was made today, it needs more representation. They say the same thing about Friends, right? Friends needs more representation. And the show is problematic. So now they brought it back. So the new series is called And Just Like That. And Miranda is gay.
Of course she is.
Miranda has left Steve.
That's on my head.
She left Steve. This old ass woman, because they're all old, right? They're old women now. Okay. So they're
like cougars in the
family.
city.
She has left her family. She left Steve. They went through all of that. There was absolutely no hint that Miranda was ever gay. It was never hinted at. And fans of Sex and the City are pissed. They don't like the representation that they're bringing in. They especially don't like the gay representation that they're bringing in. And they hate the fact that they made Miranda gay. They just went with the one that was more tomboyish of the show. And they made her gay. It came out of nowhere and people hated it. The show is awful.
And that's why I didn't watch it. I was like, I heard they killed off Mr. Big in the first episode, and I was like, I'm out. Like,
Ew.
I'm already out. You're killing off
they
Mr.
killed him
Big.
out. They
You're
killed him
making
off
Miranda
because the
gay.
actor himself was problematic.
Yeah, see, but that's the other thing. That somebody said in the chat, like, the actress is gay. Who cares? Who cares if she's gay? The character wasn't gay, so why are you turning the character gay all of a sudden? She was straight through that whole show until like now it's like, oh, 2022, let me experiment with my sexuality all of a sudden.
Well, that's where
That's
I went
fucking
off on
crazy.
Shooty Gatwa this morning. I'm like, if your only qualifications as being an actor is I'm gay and I'm black, then you're not a good actor.
Yeah.
But Michelle has to
Yeah.
leave us, sadly.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, she does.
Yes, I have to leave, but I will be back next week. And for those of you watching, we have our first time watching reaction of Naked Gun 2.5. The Smell of Fear comes out tomorrow.
Nice.
So definitely check it out. But you ladies and Tom have an awesome rest of the night, the rest of your discussion, and I will see you next week.
Thanks. Take care, Michelle.
See you guys.
Bye. Let's get to some
I
of
will
these.
be right back.
Okay. I'll read these until Carrie and Steph come back. ActionCom for $5 says, ladies, apparently there was a debate on what. Oh, we got that one. Thank you for setting off the debate here. That was interesting. Dark King for $2 says, reboot of Columbo starring Liza. One more snack. Dark King, you stop it. Stop giving them ideas. Stop it. ActionCom again for $5 says, ladies, I recommend the William Hurt movie Body Heat 1981. Ooh. I'm going to keep that one for Carrie and Steph when they come back. To the chat, I want to say thank you, says ActionCom. Well, thank you for sending that $2. Too Tired says for $5, though I love the Han Leia scene, I feel like the Scarlett Pimpernel 1982 film does romance and tension best. Size. Ooh, I'm gonna check that out. I've never seen that. And then Hardcore Curtsy for $5 says, I recommend Nero Wolf, the show on A&E. The book's written from the 30s to the 70s. The show is wonderful. I can't say enough about it. Nero Wolf. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. I need my pen here. Why don't I have a pen? Okay, Nero Wolf. I'll have to remember that. Thank you. And then there's another one from Hardcore Curtsy. Charm, authenticity, writing, and subtle wisdom of the show. You can see it, see some of it on YouTube, but parts of it, music drops out. See Prisoner's Base. Thank you so much for that. And then Dragon's Blade 79 for $5 says, I'm glad I was born Gen X. Kids can't have friendships, romance, or good entertainment. It's so true. Same here, man. Although I'm not Gen X, technically, I guess I'm like supposed to be, what's it called? Millennial?
Gen Y, millennial.
I don't buy into that bullshit.
But I refuse because I'm like, I don't think I'm millennial at all. I'm like in the right on. I didn't have internet.
If you're near the line, you choose based on who culturally you are the most like. And
I never even heard the term millennial until I was like a teenager.
Yeah,
and that was in the
same.
90s.
Yeah, same here.
And
Okay,
I don't
let's
remember
talk
us
about
calling us that. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, and I saved this super chat so you guys can see it. It says I recommend William Hurt movie Body Heat 1981.
Oh, I've seen it.
That's a good one.
Okay, so let's talk about this crazy chick and this crazy show called Baby Reindeer on Netflix. Have you guys seen it, chat? If you've seen it, put a 1 in the chat so I can actually get a gauge of how many people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, put a 2 in the chat. A lot of really crazy stuff happened with this show. And I wanted to talk about it because it's about a toxic female. And you know, it's actually kind of crazy what's gone down after the fact. So that's also a topic of conversation here. There is the woman with script doctor in a jar. And it seems like a lot of the people have not seen it actually in the chat. So, okay, well, sorry, it's going to be spoiled for you guys. But basically the lowdown of it is that the woman that you see pictured here, Netflix made a docuseries on this woman and this guy's life. The guy in the jar is a comedian, and he made a life, like he sold his life story to Netflix to tell his story about this woman who stalked him for years, endlessly stalking him. He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. And he sold the story to Netflix, and they made a docuseries about it, calling it based on a true story. And basically that a lot of this was, they emphatically said several times in different places that it was based on a true story. Now, after this docuseries came out, a few things came out about this woman, and a few things came out about this dude. So during the show, one thing was that he was saying that he was also being abused at the same time that the situation was happening to him with her, by a gentleman who, he fictionalized the name because he didn't want to like out this person, although I don't know why, because he was a predator. But he was saying that this predator basically like gave him drugs, raped him, did all like really bad things to him. It was a very graphic episode, actually, one that had a trigger warning because it had graphic imagery about it. And it was like really messed up. It was a really messed up show. And he was saying that like throughout this thing, he was basically saying that the reason that he gave her a chance when they met at this bar and he offered her a free drink was because he felt bad for her. But every time there was like a red flag about her or whatever, he didn't listen to the red flag because he was so fucked up himself because of the drugs he was taking and because of all the things that he was doing. He didn't realize what he was actually getting himself into. And then she became a serial stalker. So that's the premise of the show. And then after the show happened, internet sleuths went crazy trying to figure out the identity of the woman that was playing. Her name was Martha in the show. They were trying to figure out who Martha was in real life. And the other one was the man who raped him and gave him drugs. They were trying to figure out who he is too, so they can cancel him. Now, apparently from what I understand, they actually honed in on somebody, and then this guy actually had to come and make a statement saying it's not that guy, don't cancel him, and because that guy started getting death threats and like all these different things about how he's a predator and everything, and he came out and he was like, it's not this person, please stop harassing them and blah blah blah. And meanwhile, that the woman who the character Martha was based off, she went to the Daily Mail and gave them an interview. And there was rumors, well, not rumors. I mean, the Daily Mail person claimed that after interviewing her, that she started stalking him after the interview. It's the craziest story about the serial stalker and just crazy stuff. And then so she ends up going on Piers Morgan for an interview, and he has a huge platform, and that everybody tuned in for. And basically on the Piers Morgan interview, which I will pull up a clip of here, she basically said everything that Netflix said was pretty much a lie, including the fact that they called her, and Andy was on this show because they ended up talking about her. Here's a clip of the show and her reacting to her own clip. Here it is.
And the 22nd of March 2017. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You were charged with the harassment of Gerald Dunn and Eleanor Dunn between the dates of the 6th.
So this is like her reacting to it, and then she basically tells Piers like everything that Netflix said, because she has actually never been, according to her, she has never ever been convicted of a crime. She's never been arrested. She doesn't have a criminal record. And she's saying that basically they made it up, and she's going to sue Netflix. She's planning on suing Netflix. And
of
course not. It's crazy.
Have you ever been to prison?
No.
Have you ever been charged with a
Nowhere
criminal
near it.
offence?
No,
Never.
no,
Nothing.
nothing.
So that scene is completely invented.
That's completely false.
Now, Chris, from a legal perspective,
And this interview, by the way, that I just accidentally pressed end on was so fascinating because the idea, the conversation started where this woman is basically telling Pierce that you had a moral obligation to not bring this serial stalker on your show, and that this serial stalker was really messed up, and what she's been doing to people is really messed up. And everybody else here, this guy's a lawyer. This is Officer Tatum. If some of you may know or may not know, he's a kind of like a right-wing commentator, I guess. He's
he's a commentator. Yeah, he's really awesome.
He's great. I really like him. And then of course Andy, who is supposed to be here. Andy, where are you? But he was on there as well, and I really liked how he called this woman out because she kind of kept interrupting everybody and just kind of was really annoying about everything. But this was a great interview where she was saying that he had a moral obligation to like not interview her, and giving her a platform was a terrible thing to do. But he's saying, and all these guys are saying, if it's true that Netflix made this up about her, shouldn't she have a platform to defend herself and her character? I mean, it's kind of crazy to make something up about somebody like that. So what are your thoughts on all of this, Carrie? Let's start with you because you've seen the show, I know.
Well, first of all, the show is dark and it's a great show. I like dark themes, so and it's quirky. Same. And there's also dark humor. It's not entirely dark, but there's dark subject matter, and it's very authentic. Like, talk about vulnerability and revealing oneself. It's a docudrama, so it's not a well, you said docuseries. I only want to say it's a docudrama. It is a fictionalized account of what happened to him, but you're right. They do say based on a true story. And he does say that every email you see or every text message you see from the character of Martha is a real message. He said that he got from this person who was unnamed. They did take great pains not to name her, to try and keep it.
I was going to say, I'm just looking here. It looks like she's the one who claimed credit for it.
She named herself. Okay, so that's the first thing. She came forward. Now, if none of this is true, there's a couple red flags. Number one is that you came forward and outed yourself. I see people do this all the time online when they come in, somebody anonymous posts about them. They're vague on purpose. They don't use their name. They just say, I saw this phenomenon happening. Here's an example. The person's name is blacked out. And then the person comes forward and says, that was me. You doxed me. No, you just doxed yourself, MFer. Like, so that was a little bit weird. Secondly, like the character, let's just talk about the portrayal. If it's true, it's a great portrayal of a female, a cluster B personality disorder. It's a great portrayal of someone who's got one or more of those antisocial personality disorders, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality all of it. And I've dealt with a woman like this. I have dealt with a woman who's this psychopathic and crazy. And so it was cathartic for me to see someone going through this experience, and you sort of see like, thank you. Someone's nailing this kind of toxic woman. I love the portrayal of this woman.
I mean, I think a side note, this woman here needs to get a freaking Oscar or something, or like some sort of award, because she was great. And if she was based on that real woman, I mean, people apparently that's how they could find her, was because, or they knew it was her, was because she acted so like her that like her friends and stuff were like, dude, there's a show about you. Like, that's you, that's on. And she's like, yeah, I saw the promos.
She came forward to take all the claim, which is very narcissistic also. Like, this is me. I think it's likely, my gut is that it's true that she did all this. We don't know yet. Apparently I'm waiting to see if records come out that she was ever convicted or not. She, if you believe the portrayal of her in the show, she's a pathological liar. So of course she would lie about everything. And even in that interview with Piers Morgan, the real person who claims it's about her, she says she never sent him 41,000 emails. But then she backtracks and says, well, maybe the email part is true, but the rest is false. Okay, so now you just proven that we can't take your word on anything because you just said you didn't send in those emails. Oh, well, maybe I did. She also admitted that she had multiple email addresses and multiple phones, 4 different phones, to email different people, like a serial stalker would do, to have different devices. So it's like, you know.
She said though that she's basically like willing to go to court and have this all come out in the discovery process because she believes that she was vehemently basically misrepresented. She says there was instances, but she said there was like 18 Facebook messages or something like that. She's like, that's all there was. It was like only 18 messages and maybe like 1 letter. And he's like, so you didn't send her like 100 letters or whatever? She's like, no, I only sent her like what? And he kept being like, well, you know, this is all verifiable because of your IP address and everything. She's like, yep, yeah, I know. And she's willing to court and stand on this. And the interesting part for me was that the lawyer that was speaking to the situation was saying that Netflix has lawyers. So if this was a thing and it was true, shouldn't they have found these arrest records? Shouldn't they know exactly what they're talking about? That's the part that really confuses me, is that Netflix is a giant company that you would think if somebody's coming to you with this kind of information that you would be verifying it. Like,
well, they may have, but also I'll tell you what, they got one thing to stand on is even though they may say something's based on a true story or inspired by, you watch the end of the credits, they'll always say that it's a work of fiction. Any resemblance,
they didn't
any
say
actual
that
person
apparently on
living
this
or
one.
dead. Well, then they might have screwed themselves, but then they probably did their due diligence. But I think you guys are right. They'll probably find out that this chick is lying through her teeth. And she's just as insane as we think she is. But again, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But I see where Andy's coming from on this argument too.
But also, there was a different woman, okay? Until she outed herself, there was a different woman that everybody thought it was. A woman who has unsealed arrest records for stalking, and based on identifiable evidence, you know, internet sleuths were trying to figure out who it was. And there were a few randos who found her tweets to him and they thought it was her, but the majority of people thought it was this other woman, poor woman. But you know, not poor woman actually, because she was convicted. This other one was convicted of stalking people, just like this character. But so this woman outed herself. Like, that's my point, is like, she came forward and brought this attention on herself. She wants the attention. That's narcissistic. It's like, in my opinion, that's why my gut is screaming she's guilty. But
well, she kept saying they're making so much money. She wants her cut. She's like, this is about me. I want my cut.
That's probably what it's more about. I can see
the other side of it too that did surprise me a little bit was that she's claiming that Netflix never contacted her. And that's the other thing. It's like,
why would they?
Well, because they're making a giant documentary about her. You would have to like contact.
Is it a documentary or a dramatization?
Yeah,
it's a dramatization.
It's a dramatization. They don't have to contact you.
Technically, I mean, that's what we're saying, but they're not saying it's a dramatization though.
That's they were. No, that's wrong. They were. This is a drama. This is a fictionalized drama. There's actors playing these parts. The names are changed. They protect the identity. It's based on a true story. Yes. But not a documentary, not her name's not
Carrie
used.
knows where I'm coming from.
Like they don't
if
have
it's not
any
a documentary, then they don't have to contact you for like a
to do
quote
shit,
or
and
anything
that's
like
why
that.
I don't think they're going to be liable for anything. Because, like, you know, how many times I've gotten to arguments about people over Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Never happened. But there's people that swear up and down that it did. It's like, no. He says it's a true story, but it's because it's loosely based on Ed Gein. That's it.
Loosely based. I'm sorry I got a little animated about this because I have one other point I want to drive home, which is this. What bothers me more about this, forget this crazy woman for a second. She's making the news all about her and everything. The thing about this story that's so dark and is even darker is the guy in Hollywood who he allows to groom him and rape him and drug him repeatedly so that he can maybe have a shot at fame. And the fact that he's vulnerable about that, if it really happened, and he's admitting that part of him, he went along with it. He went along with the grooming and all of it because he wanted what this guy was promising him and dangling over his head. And what bothers me, well, two things. What I'm pleased to see is that charities for the sexual abuse of men are reporting that they've got an uptick in calls and emails now from men who have been sexual abuse victims who have said this show caused them to feel like it's okay to reach out and admit that this happened to them, because men are less likely to report if they've been raped or groomed. And so that's great that men are reaching out for that help. But what bothers me is that this guy, whoever did this, it does bother me that he didn't name this guy. Part of me is a little annoyed by that, because it's like, if he's doing that, it's not just the grooming. You claim, according to Based on a True Story, this account, that he raped you. That's illegal. Like
multiple times.
Multiple times.
Like, yeah.
Is this predator still out there in Hollywood? Like, are you cool with that, dude? Like, that's one thing I kind of wish the comedian would.
Well, and he said, like, he basically made light of the whole thing too, because he kind of went like over to the predator's house later and was like when he was clean and everything, like, and he just kind of was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I was just trying to figure out if he actually did stuff to me, and the guy was like, no, and like he's just like, oh, okay, well, kind of think you did. But it was just it was such a weird show, and for him to not actually name that predator was kind of weird to me too. But this is the kind of stuff that has come out since, like, she went on the Daily Mail. Like, this is one of the victims, says, I was a stalking victim of the real life Martha from Baby Reindeer. Watching her behind being interviewed has made me fearful that she will target me again. And this is like some politician, Laura Ray, widow of former Labor MP Jamie Ray, widow of former MP Jamie Ray. So she was a wife of the former MP. Said that she fears for her own safety after being allegedly targeted by Fiona Harvey. That's Martha's character, the real one. She's spoken about out for the first time after her alleged stalker gave an explosive interview with Piers Morgan earlier this week. So this is the woman here, and she's claiming she's terrified for her life now because this woman is apparently, she's saying that is a stalker and she stalked me. So like, why is she being given like all these big platforms? I find this fascinating because I want this to go to court and the truth to actually come out. And it's a really fascinating subject for me to see the truth. And then the other interesting part to me was how when she gave the first Daily Mail interview, the Daily Mail guy was like, this chick stalking me now. And it's actually kind of crazy. Oh, there's sorry, that was the wrong article. But she was like, they're like, she's stalking me, and it's really terrifying because she's like sending like hundreds and hundreds of emails to this guy, and it's like nonstop, which I find a little bit funny because I was like, well, that's what you get for hitting up a fucking serial stalker, dude. Like, I mean, I don't understand why people would do that. The real life Martha from Baby Reindeer is now targeting me. I've had 4-day barrage of nonstop calls and terrifying messages, just like on the Netflix show, writes Neil Sears. As I type the phone, it's ringing again. I mean, this is the craziest article. You guys should go and read that just to see how crazy this is. And then this one, I'm gonna play this because Andy's not here. I was hoping that he would come, but let's listen to this part. This part was interesting. Hang on, I'm just gonna fast forward to where Andy's talking. Here, there it is. Because he asks Pierce an interesting question.
The internet wants to know, and I'm sorry if I missed if your answer is, has she stalked your producers who reached out? I feel like it's relevant.
Actually,
other journalists she's interviewed have said it.
To be honest, she's had a couple of slightly intemperate messages, but nothing particularly out of the ordinary. But she's also today had a very good conversation with two of my producers and was in a pretty good place about it all. And look, I think anyone like Fiona Harvey who is suddenly propelled into the global public spotlight albeit willingly, when she came on this show. But anyone who does that, you lose your anonymity in a flash. But of course, the reason she came on was that her anonymity had been shattered by what Netflix did. And as Chris Daw rightly says, the key question, aside from the abject failure of duty of care, the key question is, if you say somebody is a self-confessed, by the way, because she was seen pleading guilty, if you're a self-confessed convicted multiple stalker, and it turns out none of that is actually true, I think it's a prima facie open and shut legal case, whatever Netflix say.
Right,
I do know, by the way, that Netflix in their private briefings to journalists so far have produced zero evidence of any conviction. And yet Richard Gadd has been going around, and listen, I've nothing against him. I think he's a very talented guy who's had a massive success. He was at the BAFTA Awards last night, and good luck to him. I think he's a very talented guy. But something has gone wrong here, both in the duty of care process and in the legal process, because for a company as big and powerful and rich as Netflix, with all the infrastructure they have to avoid this kind of thing, for them to stamp on every episode at the start, this is a true story, when the culmination of that story may apparently be completely untrue and incredibly damaging to the person they make it about, then I think this becomes a big problem for them, as Chris has rightly said. So it'll be interesting.
There we go. So crazy talk. I think it's crazy. I think it's not just a story about a true story about a narcissist. It is now a story about what is happening afterwards. What's happening with Netflix? Are they platforming an absolute psychopath? I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So I would be really fascinated if this thing actually does go to court, which it seems like it's going to, because this woman has claimed that she's going to sue Netflix. So I think this will be fascinating to watch if it actually goes to court.
And if she sues them, guess what? During discovery, she's going to have to turn over 41,000 emails that she sent him. So, I mean, I kind of think it's going to go that way. Who knows? I could be wrong. Somebody in the chat mentioned A Million Little Pieces. Maybe it'll go that way. That guy who fabricated his whole book. But I tend to think this woman is exactly, my gut, exactly what he says she is.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I mean, it seems like it. I mean, it's because of all the different things that are coming out about like the subsequent interviewer, like the Daily Mail interviewer, and like all the different people that are kind of afraid for their lives now, like that she's even out in public being like, I'm here, and they're like, oh my God, like, why is this person around? She's crazy. So I just think it's just really fascinating. I mean, even Pierce didn't technically say no to Andy's question. Like he said, yeah, she's kind of been like hitting up her producers a little bit, but nothing too crazy yet. Like, wait, like 5 days down the line. Like, I wonder if she's going to be like hitting them up like every 5 seconds now. I mean, Andre should expect a phone call after the stream. I feel like maybe he's going to get stalked. Sorry, Andre, if that happens to you. But yeah, there you go. That's the story, guys. Would you recommend the show, Carrie? Would you recommend people watch it?
I would recommend it. And I've actually heard it is a word of mouth show. I've overheard conversations in coffee shops and I've heard women telling other women, have you seen, this has happened 3 times now, where I've been standing in line to buy coffee or something, and I've heard a woman mentioning it to another woman. So
yeah, I heard it from word of mouth too. Tug, that umbrella guy, told me about it, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting.
Did you guys cover this follow-up here?
Which one?
I stepped away for a moment, so I don't know if you did. Pierce Morgan says he thinks Fiona lied quite a lot.
Yeah, he said that through the whole interview. He was saying that he doesn't buy what she's saying, but he's saying she's saying it, like she's vehemently denying all of these things. So he's like, I don't necessarily believe her,
bunch of emails and 4 mobile phones.
Yes, we talked about that. Yeah, she admitted to having that.
So you guys already covered this. Okay.
Yeah, like a serial stalker. I just want to recommend. There's another show. I think it is on Netflix.
I can't keep one phone on.
If you like this story and you like true crime, there's a show on Netflix called Lover, Stalker, Killer, and it's about a pretty famous case. It was the Carrie Farver case, and who went missing, and it turns out they found out she had been murdered. Years later, they found out. But here's the thing. This guy, Dave, he was dating this psychopath. He didn't realize she was a psychopath. Named, gosh, what was her name? Shannon Golyer. And then he started dating Carrie Farver, who was a lovely individual. Carrie goes missing, but nobody knows she's missing because she's still sending text messages and emails for years.
Oh.
Because that crazy woman he was dating killed her and took her phone. And
single white females her.
Yes, and started texting herself and pretending like the woman, Carrie Farver, who was missing, who was killed, was pretending like she was sending all this stuff and she was the stalker and she was stalking herself.
Oh, fuck.
It's the craziest story. And
what is this story? I need to watch
I've heard another story like that too. Like there's
Yes.
that reminds me of another case, and I can't remember what it is, but it is extremely similar.
Can you text me the name of that, like on Twitter or whatever?
Yeah, it's lover, stalker, killer, I think is what it's called. I had it pulled up. But
I think I've either seen this or I've been aware of the story because like
Tom's
I've
like,
said
it
this for a
happened to
while.
me.
No, but I've said this for a while and I get some blowback sometimes for saying it, but it's like, traditionally, especially in shows, they're like, well, serial killers and all this stuff are always typically white males. It's like, no, you'd be surprised. I bet you the number of women is a lot more than you'd think. They're just smarter.
Oh, they go about it in a different way. But
Yeah.
there was a study that just came out that said, hey, we've been massively underestimating this was from a psychologist saying there's a lot more female psychopaths than we have previously thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of psycho
Well,
bitches
and the
out
thing
there.
is a lot of the behavior that they would do to get out of it is stuff that people would normally accept as, oh, well, she's grieving or she's upset or she's this or she's that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the fascinating part about this show. Actually, this show that we're talking about, Baby Reindeer, is how many excuses this guy made for her, and like, oh, she's just this or she's just that. I just feel so bad for her. It's that pity that they feed off of, and like, it's because he offered her a tea. That was it, and it just became this insane thing because he just felt bad for her and he offered her a cup of tea, and then it just became fucking insane. Like, you never realize, you're like, I'm just trying to be nice to somebody, and then it just go crazy. Mind you, having said that, I mean, Carrie, when you were watching the show, because I was feeling like, okay, yeah, she's nuts, but she's not really shy about being crazy. Like, I would just be like, please leave. Like, get out. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is your deal? Like, you're fucked up. And, you draw some boundaries, like you put some boundaries, but this man himself was so psychologically damaged that he wasn't seeing it. Or if he was seeing it, he was in denial about it. And he was like, he liked the validation that she gave him all the time. He fed off of this, I love you. He fed off of the praise that she gave him and all of these different things.
Of course he did, because narcissists know how to pick their victims.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they know how to pick their victims. They go for
Exactly.
very weak-willed, weak victim. People
I
that they
will say-
can later on manipulate. So.
Exactly, Stephanie. I will say one last thing about the show, and then we can kind of do super chat and call it. The one thing that really pissed me off about the show itself, and Carrie, you can back me up. So the guy is dating this trans woman, like in the show, because he's like gay or whatever. I don't know. He's confused. After he has that experience with that man who raped him, he becomes confused. He becomes sexually confused and he thinks he's gay. So he's going around dating men, dating women, having sex with everybody. And he gets together with this woman who becomes his girlfriend, and she's a trans woman. Now, the person that they cast in this show, because they're all casting actors, they casted a real life woman as the trans woman. And I'm like, here is your chance, Netflix, to actually have an actual trans person, like a trans woman, be cast in this role. And you go with a real life woman. I don't get it. Like, I'm just like, I don't fucking
Actually, I'm
get
kind
it.
of
Like,
glad they did, because that means they're
What
letting
the
people
fuck?
act again.
What do you really like? That was the point. The character was supposed to be trans. So why is a real life woman acting as a trans person? Like, is this not your chance, Netflix, to have a trans woman act as a trans woman? Is that what they want? I'm confused.
No, she is trans. That actress, Nava Mal, Navamau.
Is she trans? I looked it
Yes.
up. It says she's not trans.
Yes. The actor who is here, I'll send you a headline. who
Okay,
is
send me the headline
trans.
because I looked her up and I was like, and it, like all the places were saying she's a real woman, and I was like, wait, what?
You know what's happening now is they're getting to the point where they never mention that, and they don't want you to know.
They
and
don't want you to know.
Right.
So you're confused and
That's the
gaslit,
trap.
like I feel right now.
Yes.
Oh, well, there you
But
go.
let's
There goes
grab
that
these super
theory.
chats. We got ActionCom here. Says Tom. Remember when they made 3 movies about Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco? Exactly. And I doubt any of those were very accurate. But they all got paid, I think, off that thing too.
Yes, and also yes, I feel like this is exactly how I feel right now. It's mass gaslighting. That's exactly how I feel. I feel gaslit.
And we got Hardcore Curtsy here who says it's a detective show. This goes off for super chat from earlier. And the books are the basis of a lot of our stereotypes of the 1940s noir detective. And it's better, and it's even better, and I'm a sucker for it. Well, there you go. So backing up the recommendation, and that brings us up to speed. And we have a premiere going on right now on the channel as well. So, ladies, real quick, let's go around the horn. Tell everybody where they can find you and all that stuff. Steph, let's start with you.
Well, in about 15 minutes, you can find me over on Geeks and Gamers Rumble. I'm hosting Mario Kart over there. That is where I host Mario Kart, so you can join us over there. I think other people host on other platforms, but I am on Geeks and Gamers Rumble. Other than that, you can find me all at My Nerdy Home, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, and I think that's all of them. Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Sweet.
Carrie?
You can find me at Deprogram with Carrie Smith or Real Carrie Smith, Keri. And Wednesday night, 6:00 Central, we're going to be doing another Christian panel. We do them every other week. Michelle's going to be there. We're Odin from OMB Reviews, Brahma Bull, and then we're going to have a special guest or two who will be announcing soon. So we went around the horn.
All right.
Okay. Nina.
And Nina.
Yeah, it's Wednesday show. I think I'm gonna have Grums on this week and Master of TDS. We're gonna talk about crazy stuff. And then that's on Rumble exclusive. And then Fridays, of course, my Infinite Hope Good News show. So if you're sick and tired of all this crazy shit in the world, come hang out with me Friday.
Awesome sauce. So check these ladies out, and don't forget to check out Force of Light. And head over to the premiere that's going on right now. Here's the video. It's about Doctor Who. You can always back it up. You get over there. The stream might even lead you over there. So take care of yourselves and each other. And with that,
fuck this shit, I'm